So what I've been able to do is leverage my social media as a way of marketing the different services that I have. I try to stay away from the model of being like, hey, buy this. At the moment, I feel that a lot of people, they don't like to be sold to. Like I always see those ads pop up of let me design your logo. And if you market directly, for me personally, if you come to me and you say, I want to sell you this, I'm just going to say no. Already, I'm just going to say no. So I feel like my personal account is a more organic way of me showing what I do. I've received a lot of interests and leads via TikTok, Instagram, and funny enough, like this one shocked me. I've received a lot of paid work from Twitter. Those platforms, if you're present and you show your content, people are watching. That thing of people are watching is
Yeah.
very true.
Cool. Thank you so much for coming through, actually.
Thanks for inviting me.
So I just wanted to ask if you can maybe like just introduce yourself, tell me about yourself a bit.
I am Ronica Chigwaja. I am a Zimbabwean born, South African raised, multidisciplinary designer. I've been working in the design sector for, I think, 1st of August, that was like 5 years. I didn't even realize that I crept up. So it's been 5 years. And my design journey actually started off with architecture. I was studying architecture and that didn't work out for financial reasons. And then graphic design, it found me. And then that's where my design career took off. With my portfolio from architecture school, I used that. And yeah, I just hopped in.
Two questions I wanted to ask. Like, what does it mean when you
Mm-hmm.
say you're a multimedia designer? And also, how did you start with designing? Were you a person who just loved drawing as a child, or did you find that later on in high school, or how did it work for you?
Okay. When I say multidisciplinary designer, I'm referring to the fact that one day I could be illustrating, next day I could be making a video, next day it could be like some graphic design stuff. I feel like my skill set is multifaceted. Like I could get a design project and run with it. It could be it's just design. Videos, film, animation, illustrations. I always find when people are like, what can you do for me? I always first ask, what is your project about? Let's see. And then I'll take it from there. And then with the design thing, I've always loved design ever since I was a kid. When I was a kid, this is going to sound crazy, but I always used to flip through architecture plan books that my parents had in their home. And I would actually look at these floor plans and look at the image that they would have on the one page and try to figure out, so this window I'm looking at, where is it on the actual image that I'm looking at on the other side? So I've always loved it. And when I was studying architecture, funny enough, I didn't even realize this until last year when I was talking to a friend about it. I would always visit art galleries in my free time. Like it was just something I enjoyed doing, just going there to the galleries and appreciating art. At that time, I was not even doing art. I was just doing architecture, but I've always just had a passion for everything creative, which is why I feel that when I got started with my design career, it just came naturally. And when I started working, I started to actually like really enjoy the graphic design part. Like I was constantly doing research, how I could better my skill set, what else I could actually offer the current organization I was working for. I never would have seen that coming. If somebody told me in 2015 that in 2016 you'd be doing a role where you're combining your drafting with graphic design skills, I would have been like, no way. Like it wasn't even like a career path I ever imagined. That's why I say that.
Do you work from home? Like, how does that work with you? I heard that you said you also work for yourself and you have a 9 to 5, which I just firstly congratulations, because my goodness, some superwoman stuff. But how does that work with you?
Yeah, I heard your question.
Okay.
How I juggle that is at the moment we're working alternating days. So every other day I work from home, then every other day I work from the office. And then with my work, my own side business that I have, I work, that's after hours, like late at night and on the weekends. So I have a 7 day working week.
How do you
But
do
it's
that?
I feel like I can take a break whenever I want on the weekend, but then if I get any requests for any design work on the weekends, I get started. Yeah.
Okay. Can you tell me a bit about your side business, like how you started that and what it is that you do? Or is it just a matter of someone discovering you and saying, can you do this for my brand?
Okay, so how it started was when I started doing graphic design, I'd get a lot of people approaching me saying, can you create a card for me? Can you create a logo for me? And just all of these different tasks. Then it got to a point where I was like, a lot of people are asking me for things. Maybe I should actually monetize this. So I started off by doing small things like a poster for somebody's small event. And I was like, I need to start my own business, but I never did until last year in July. That's when I officially started it. After like marinating on the idea since like 2018, a lot of people had been saying I should do it, I should do it. And I was just like, I don't know. I don't know. I was having like a little bit of imposter syndrome, but then eventually I did start. And I saw that one of your questions was the whole career advice I'll give myself. I think that's what it was. The biggest mistake early in your career. I'm going to slot this one in here. Not asking for a deposit before doing work. Oh my word. I have learned that lesson the hard way. Like, it's been bad. Like I was actually talking to a friend the other week saying, I saw the car of this like one promoter that I did a poster for this big event. Like I thought they're trustworthy because they're like somebody that is known or like they have a good reputation. So I was like, yeah, I'll do this for you. And then after doing many revisions of this poster, they were like, we actually don't like the style. And then that was the end of the communication. And I was like, oh my word. So for me right now, I never start anything without a deposit. Like, yeah. Like, I don't care who you are. You could be Oprah. I'm not starting without a deposit. Like, no.
Yeah, no, I understand what you mean. Like, it's a bit, I don't know, like it disrespects you and your time and literally your skill, because in order for us to get to a point where we're revising, right? There's something I put in. There is some work that I put in, and then you tell me that no, let's go this way. You know, it is a bit too much. That is actually a great segue to just managing the business side of things as a creative, though, because that work sometimes is like seriously disrespected. But it's so valuable at the same time, which we don't even need to talk about that. The fact that it's so valuable, but people disrespect it all the time. So what are other business related managing your side hustle lessons that you've learned when you working with third parties, working with clients?
Like, I'm sorry, it's so painful. Yeah, it's very painful how people just, I don't know, they disregard it, yet they need it. Like, I once had a client who had a design they wanted me to work on, and they had done some work in Canva. All respect to Canva, like great platform. But there's some limitations when it comes to now you want to maybe create a product that you want to get embroidered, or now you need to do a high quality print. So at the time, I was offering print only services where I could, if you've got something you've designed or you just need something printed, you can send it my way and then I'll charge you for printing. So now I'm sitting there with this bad quality Canva design. And now I'm like, oh no, if this print comes out bad, it's my fault. So I learned the lesson of I will not be taking accountability for other people's designs, like saying it's passing through me and then that's the product I created. I'll actually have to have a package. So at the moment, a lot of my services I offer, they come as part of a package. It's not the logo only. It's not the, so you don't take the beautiful logo I've created and then you go and then create a whole different, I am in control of the brand. Whereas before I was not. Like, I'd be like, yeah, bring this. So that's definitely something that I learned the hard way. And even costing, sometimes that becomes a bit difficult because that person somebody else has created something, and then you come in and you're like, I'm going to tweak this, this, and this. And then they don't want to pay you for that tweaking. But it's like, that's where the graphic designer in me came in. So having packages of stuff, I found to be a better thing instead of the whole hourly rate. I used to try work out an hourly rate, but I found I'd be cutting myself short because due to my experience, I can do things quickly. So does that mean for example, if I'm like 50 Rand an hour, if I could create a logo and stuff in an hour, does it mean I'm getting 50 Rand? So That's something, yeah. I'm not for hourly rates when it comes to design work. Not for me. No, don't do
Yeah,
it.
it is tricky to do hourly because you can't do hourly because the quality of the work also differs. So
Mm.
you can't value yourself at the same level consistently because what are you saying then about your skills, about yourself? How
Yeah.
do how like what are the resources that you use when it comes to costing, like pricing your work? Did you just be like, you know what, I'm gonna ask around, or do you start from a point of negotiating, or do you say, you know what, this is the amount I want, and then you work backwards with regards to charging?
I normally start with this is the amount I want. And a tip I would give anyone, start very high, very high. Because some people are gonna want to discount. So when it comes to you saying your price first, I would rather ask for way more than you want. Sometimes somebody might actually say, okay, cool, let's go with that price. But if you undercut yourself from the get-go, it's going to get really bad. Like really bad. And I'm one of those people where like it is kind of hard to go back and say, I'm sorry, can you pay more money? It's just always better if from the get-go you have set a very reasonable price for your time as well. Because if I was the client, I would not. If we've agreed on a price, oh my word. I can't believe that person actually asked. But this person was in this live stream chat busy saying they're gonna pay it. They kind of feel bullied, but I was like, wow, like
But it is a bit, it is unprofessional, it is unprofessional. Like,
yeah.
um the designer always says in their contract you are only allowed to make so many revisions, and then now imagine
Yeah.
you go back and you do the exact thing that you don't want people to do. You change your prices randomly. It is a bit
Can you imagine?
unprofessional.
I just can't believe that person did that. Wow.
But no, that's some solid advice. Like, how do you deal with imposter syndrome, specifically the imposter syndrome that is like, no, undervalue yourself, undercharge, this amount is too much? How do you deal with that imposter syndrome?
I'm not gonna lie. Initially, it was very hard because sometimes you'll find a client will come at you and they already have a price. So I would have instances where somebody would just come and say, okay, X amount. But then same thing as what I was saying with the whole $30 thing. So you've accepted, and then you'll find that, this work, it's actually a lot of work, a lot of revisions. You've taken up a lot of your time. And then you start doing a cost analysis of the software, your skills, the time. Then what I decided to do from this is I started creating like a rough table of if I get this kind of request, on average, how many revisions does it consist of? How much time will it normally take? So what I did is I used that formula to then decide when I'm pricing my stuff, how much that's going to be worth. And I will also took into account that even if it takes me doesn't take me a long time, my fees may still be high. Like I've just been playing around with packages. I'll mention one package that I'm trying to market at the moment, and that is the Pick My Brain. It's like it's gonna be like a, are you laughing? It's gonna be like it could be a Zoom call, but for good 30-40 minutes, you can pick my brain for a fee. Pick My Brain as a service that I offer where like if you want to pick a brain, you can pick my brain, but it will be like a consultation.
It just goes back to that thing of like, so for example, about color theory, right? You know about color theory, you know about what works in the consumer's eye. And a normal person doesn't know about that, but they still don't want to pay for the fact that your work is so detailed, and that you're able to make work that is consumable by the consumer.
Mm.
But then they don't understand that that is actually what they're paying for. They're paying for your experience, your eye, your years of training your eye to do something and make it really packageable and consumable. Let me do quick fire questions just to have a little break
Okay.
of some sort. So
Oh
quick
yeah,
fire
from the
questions. These are questions that you just quickly answer. The first one is
okay.
3 words to describe you.
Oh my word. Funny, patient, Oh wow. Okay, this is meant to be quick fire. Colorful.
Okay. Would you rather be stuck in the warmest place in the world or the coldest place in the world?
Coldest.
Why?
You can get warm. Like
Sorry?
hot places. Oh my word. In a hot place, you might even want to peel your skin off. What are you gonna do? I'd rather it's easier to get warm.
Okay. One meal that makes you feel like everything will just be okay.
Pizza
Oh, okay. Pizza.
or chocolate. Not really food, but chocolate.
O-
Chocolate, yeah. It fills a void.
Okay. And then fourth one is complete the senses. COVID is
Irritating.
simple.
It is.
And then the last question is, would you rather pick an action camera or a 360 camera?
An action camera.
Oh, you like vlogging. Oh my goodness, that would be so perfect for
On
you.
the move, yeah, on the move.
Yeah. No, I get you. I want to go into like we've talked about it though. We've talked about just trying to create good working relationships. I think my second last questions would be like, how have you been able to build a sustainable career out of being a creator? Because you have a 9 to 5 also. How do you continue to just sustain the relationships that you have, the service that you do?
So what I've been able to do is leverage my social media as a way of marketing the different services that I have. I try to stay away from the model of being like, hey, buy this, because I have two Instagram accounts. One is it's my personal account, but then it's actually more where I show my work and a little bit about my life, but it's mostly just my work. So I use that as a way of marketing what I do without actually marketing what I do. And then I do have a business Instagram account that is separate, and that is just straight up just actual work that I do. Although I feel like I don't really give it a lot of attention because at the moment I feel that a lot of people they don't like to be sold to. Like I always see those ads pop up of let me design your logo and wow, people I'm just gonna jot this in. People are charging things like 500 rand for a branding package. I don't even know like how is that possible? But okay. But I feel like a lot of the times if you market directly, for me personally, if you come to me and you say, I want to sell you this, I'm just going to say no. Already, I'm just going to say no. So I feel like my personal account is a more organic way of me showing what I do. I've received a lot of interests and leads via TikTok, Instagram, and funny enough, like this one shocked me. I've received a lot of paid work from Twitter. Like I think I only started using Twitter properly late last year. Like I've had a Twitter account since 2009, but I'd never really paid attention to it. And I've just been posting and stuff. And my inbox, I was really shocked of all the places. I would have thought maybe Instagram, since that's more visually appealing, you can show off your work. But those platforms, if you're present and you show your content, people are watching. That thing of people are watching is
Yeah.
very true.
It is.
The
It
most
is.
for me, the most surprising people are watching moment I've had is the app that I use for design is called Procreate, and it's a Tasmanian based company in Australia. And when I first started using the app, I'd always be posting my process videos and just tagging them like that's what I'm using. And a few times they've hopped into my inbox, they're like, we love your work. And I'm like, what? Like, yeah, people are really watching. So in as much as you may not have a lot of followers or
True.
just be consistent and put your stuff out there, like,
True.
because I feel work ethic wise you can't wait until you have 1 million followers to now be making great content. Just make great content regardless.
I that's literally my favorite words ever. I
Mhm.
love that advice so much. I actually did want to. Do you also have a Twitch as well? Like, are you active on Twitch?
Yes, I'm trying to get my Twitch off the ground, but you know my internet is kind of against me, so I've been trying to do workarounds of pre-recording it in OBS, then streaming the pre-recorded. That
Okay.
seems to be working because the
Uh-huh.
live is very jumpy. But I'm trying to hop onto Twitch because I kind of feel like where are the black people on Twitch? First things first, because I know there are a lot of Black creatives, but when I hopped onto Twitch, I didn't see anybody like me when I was
True.
looking at stuff. So I was like, let me hop onto this.
Where are the Black
Yeah, I like
women who are designers? You know, and I like that you like share your process as well. Like a lot of people don't do that. What what inspires you to be so transparent and so transparent about how you do things? And also, does that ever now interrupt clients' relationships and someone taking you seriously about your work?
With regards to people taking me seriously, client-wise, well, I haven't experienced anything that directly associated with the content on YouTube. But with my process, I don't know. I'm really free with sharing it because a lot of the times when I look for stuff and I can't find what I'm looking for, that's when I'm like, let me create that. And one thing about my artwork that I realized is initially when I started YouTube, I'd be looking at other YouTubers. I'm like, okay, cool. This is the formula, but there is no formula. So I've just been trying to do things my way. And with these process videos, I'm very comfortable sharing them because a lot of the times on my TikTok, I've done a few people that follow me. I've done their portraits. I've just like picked a name, done a portrait, or done a name logo. It's actually what I enjoy doing. And if that's gonna inspire somebody, that's cool. Because I know a lot of people have been like, I should actually hop onto, I forgot the platform, and create like a whole course, charge people for the whole thing. And I just want to show aspiring creatives, or even if you aren't a creative, that like everybody starts somewhere. So I'm using my YouTube as a way of documenting where I started. I do have some videos that I've turned off. I'll probably turn them on. Like when I was initially starting, I was trying to do studio vlogs where you're inside your design studio, which is just a space wherever you get your work done. And I was still living at my parents at that point, and they had this like little office. And I kid you not, like my desk would be right here, and then as soon as I move my chair out, I'm touching the back wall. So I'd be recording my videos there, and it was just so like, so I like just showing the process. I feel like, and I was thinking about this yesterday, I kind of want my content to be like, I don't want to say like just a normal human being creating content. Like I want my stuff to always be, not seem so curated to the point that like, is this real? It's just me. So I think that's what I like about Twitch. I will try live stream. I know my recent Twitch, I've just put it up on YouTube. That's what I like about Twitch, because just like this convo we're having, it's happening right now. Like no edits. We're doing it live, which is why I like Twitch, is I can actually just be like, let's draw, guys. Hop on. Let's do this. So you can actually see the time that it takes. Because some people feel that with illustration, they think there's an app. You put something in, you press a button, and it converts the image. So I really want to cancel that. There is nothing like that. Like I once got feedback about digital art saying, oh, that's not like actually painting, blah, blah, blah. And a few weeks later, I actually painted the portrait that I'd done a digital portrait of. I did the painted version. First things first, I'm not really like I paint, but I prefer digital painting. Like when I paint, I like to do stuff like up here, like textiles. So just to prove a point, I painted this, which is, I've got like the pink version on my Instagram, but I actually painted an actual portrait. It takes a lot of time to paint. And the one reason that I am drawn to digital art is because you don't need to actually invest in buying all these different paint colors. Like when it comes to painting, you need a lot of money. Like, especially for my work, you may look at it and think, oh, it's just pink. It's many shades of pink. That's like many different bottles of pink, trying to mix that, get the different shades, different paint brushes. So one thing I like about digital art, I would really like to be that force that champions and pushes us through, especially in South Africa, is once you have your digital device and something to draw with, you're set. You can create magic.
Like, I want you to also plug your work, plug what you do, the service that you do. But I guess to answer the last question is your greatest achievements, and just maybe continue to elaborate on the services that you do, the services that you provide, just the type of people that you want to work with, whether it be on your social media platforms, whether it be like clients work. Yeah, how do you want to grow your career, and what have been the greatest milestones for you?
The greatest milestones for me have actually been through my 9 to 5. I work within the event sector, and I found myself working on events that I never would have imagined. Like, I do the floor plan. So I plan the space, I plan how many people can fit, I plan the configuration, I work out the stage, like what would work, the health and safety requirements. So that's the 9 to 5. It's like the drafting. So in that sector, I had a moment when I was like just looking back at all the different events I've worked on. I've worked on events for like a.k.a.s, Java, the DJ Theaters, and one of the biggest ones that like I was getting a lot of calls from people asking for tickets. Migos, when Migos was in Durban 2019. That was fun. It's quite sad that we aren't, the events space is kind of closed. So
yeah,
I don't even know when I could say I'll ever draw a concert floor plan again. But for me, those were moments when I was like, wow, okay, I never would have imagined that I'd be working on events like that. And then when it comes to design, the services that I offer a lot of different services ranging from filming, editing, streaming, creating branding guidelines, including the actual logo designs. And then when it comes to illustration, I feel like with my illustration, I'd love to get to the point where I can actually do spreads in magazines, stuff for websites, and I'm working on my own like t-shirt design. This has been in the works for like years, because I want to like create one thing that I'm like really, really proud of. But when it comes to my design services, it's multidisciplinary, lots of different things. But I do have packages where I bundle stuff up, and I'm looking at creating packages that are not the standard packages, like I mentioned earlier, like with the Pick My Brain. Like I've noticed that there's also designing people's WhatsApp business catalogs, because I recently updated mine on my business WhatsApp, and I'm like, this looks beautiful. And I've just been looking at a lot of my clients' WhatsApp business catalogs and just having discussions about how they can push that further, because that is like your website. Like for a lot of people, they don't have a website, but you've got a WhatsApp business line, so you can actually start using that as your website. So I feel like I want to provide services where like not just the standard, the other little stuff.
Yeah, the other little stuff that people need. I've actually jotted that down. No, but thank you so much. Thank you so much. Like,
it's a pleasure
for sitting down and for
Thanks
sharing.
for having me. I was actually really like surprised when I got the invite. I was like, who, me? Thank you.